welcome back to the Psychology Perspective. I'm Dr. Maples, and thank you for coming along this journey with me today and listening to a few thoughts of today's the continuation of a video log that I did yesterday about the journey to release weight and how, in order to do anything, that we really must begin to partake in rituals that make space in our life. And so today I wanted to continue that discussion, but I first wanted to give thanks for all the friends and all the fans that go to this video log or go to the blog in general. I can't tell you how much of a source of inspiration you are to me, just hearing your stories as well as being able to comment on them on the WordPress forum. So I want to personally thank each and every one of you, and I hope that the information you find on my blog is as inspirational as what you provide me along this journey. So again, thank you. And so today I wanted to do a continuation really of our journey that began yesterday about making space in our life to make effective change. In psychology, what ends up happening, at some point we get stuck at a crossroads. These things begin to diverge, and we're moving along a path that may not necessarily be where we want to be going. And this begins to pull at us at a deep level. Because within psychology in general, there's both an emotional capacity that we have to feel our way through where we're going. There's a thought-based capacity that we have when we begin to think we aren't moving in the right direction. And these two things can conflict as it relates to external and internal stimuli that occurs. And so when we face an event, most of the time we have both factors occurring simultaneously. To give you an example, within the concept of weight loss, we may have an image in our mind that we want to move towards, and that image we may see on the outside, the external of us, and these two things may be in conflict with one another. And so what our psychology is supposed to do is begin to make space for the image of what we want to be to move itself within, and then that's supposed to motivate action to move forward as it relates to receiving that image within our lives. But in order to do that, there's a process of letting go that has to occur. And this process of letting go is really finds its roots in the psychology of Carl Jung, as well as other support groups such as AA or NA. In fact, one of the first steps in any supportive group that adheres to a 12-step ideology is this act of admitting that your powerlessness of what has taken power of you. Now, this is a hard thing to grasp initially because as people, we are taught from a very young age that you are in control. You do have power over the things that move you. And this is very true in essence. We have the capacity to make decisions and move our lives ultimately in the direction we want. We have the capacity to make space within our lives to bring things that we do want to move towards. The aspect of powerlessness comes in this ideal that we let go. We let go and we find an aspect of hope. We find an aspect of faith, some aspect that's larger than ourselves as a means to begin to move this process forward. And so when you're dealing with any form of self-change, whether it's emotional, relational, change as it relates to food or any form of habitual behaviors that may be present, it's imperative to begin looking at those things that you do need to let go of and taking moral inventory of it. This is one of the first processes of going within to find what's there that you can begin to let go of. When you're too clogged with the events and the stuff from the past, I call it psychological ashes, there's no room for other things to get in. And this is really the moral of an ancient story that I found of interest the other day that I want to share. One time, a person was so full of wisdom, the only thing he wanted to do was to meet with a very saintly man. And so he had studied all of the important books and he began to move along this journey as it relates to meeting with this man. And he had written extensively himself and he kept filling himself with knowledge, with knowledge, with knowledge just to meet this person. And when he finally met the person, the saintly man asked him, "Would you like a cup of tea?" And he said, "Of course I would." And so as he is pouring the person the cup of tea, the man began talking about all the knowledge he had, everything that he knew. And he kept moving and moving and moving and talking about this. And the man kept pouring the tea and pouring the tea and pouring the tea until it eventually started overflowing the glass. And when the person became concerned that tea was falling onto his pants, he said, "Sir, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're spilling tea on me." And so the wise man looked at the person that was so full of knowledge and so eager to learn. He said, "Your mind's like the glass. It's overfilling with knowledge. Because it's overfilling, there's really nothing that I can give. There's nothing that I could teach you because the glass is already full, so it can't fit any more in." In order to begin the process of learning, we have to begin the process of learning to let go. And this story was told by the late Wayne Dyer, who is a phenomenal writer and a phenomenal person in general. And I wanted to share this story with you just as a means to look at this act of letting go in a more holistic perspective. It's not admitting that we're powerless over everything. It's really the process of making space in our life, in our glass, in that vessel, to empty it enough so good could come within. And so I welcome any comments you may have, concerns, or anything you would wish to discuss that you may want to have part of the next video. Until next time, I wish you a beautiful day, and I hope you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams.